everyone, it's Sharonda from Payroll Waits, and today I'm going to be reviewing On My Block Season 4, where it is currently streaming its final season on Netflix. For those of you who are new to my channel, welcome, hello, so glad you came, I hope you stay. I'll tell you what I liked about the series, what I didn't like about the series, and is it worth your time or not watching On My Block Season 4, where it is currently streaming on Netflix. So you guys, I'm not going to lie to you, it's a very emotional time for me. I have been avoiding putting this review out, like even recording it, okay? Because I'm literally recording it right now because I just needed a couple of more moments to just be in denial. I can't believe that this is the last time that I'm going to be reviewing a season of On My Block, but here we are. I'm gonna try to get through this the best way that I can, but I do want to let you guys know that I had a chance to speak with the cast one last time about this season. I will link that interview in the comment section below so you guys can go view it. But yeah, let's get into the season, because at the end of season 3, you know, we had like a time jump, right? They said they told us that we were gonna be going through a time jump. So I was like, how many years are we gonna be doing this? And then when I start the season, I was just like, oh, okay, it wasn't that big of a time jump. It was just a couple of months. Like it's not what y'all thinking that is given, okay? The time jump ain't given what it's supposed to be given, but that's okay. I was all right with that. I was like, once I reset my expectations that this wasn't like, I thought they was gonna be in college, adults, something, but basically, this season really revolves around, you know, what happened during that check on time from season 3 to where we meet them in season 4. Really trying to understand where was the breakdown in communication. And I really do love that they stress communication in this season, because it's something that, if the world could just do better at communicating with one another, and really seeing how poor communication can end friendships, as we see how that impacts this group of friends, where we find them at the beginning of season 4. The season really kind of details through each character, you know, what's kind of been happening in their lives. You know, why was this friendship circle, why was this so fractured, okay? They had to get their lives together so we can get back to the On My Block, the tight-knit group that we're used to. But I do want to talk about a couple of characters this season, and one of the standout characters for me is definitely Jasmine, played by Jessica Marie Garcia. I really love the progression of Jasmine that we got from the first season of On My Block to where we find her now. I really love that they really embrace her as a character, actually adding her to the main cast, as they should have did from day one, but that's a whole story for a different day. But I love the exploration of her character, most importantly, seeing the friendship between her and Monse. It was just nice to see them be girlfriends, to see them help one another as they're going through their relationship troubles, just real life struggles. But also too, I love that, you know, Jasmine has always been a character that has, you know, sometimes been lonely, but has always put the needs of other people before herself. And I really love that we really get to see this character just learn to love herself, but to put herself first. And I love how we see that, you know, as we see how she interacts with Ruby within their relationship. But really, as she's delving with some things that are happening in her personal life that could impact her future, I really thought that that was a really nice arc, because I do think that that's something that all of us need to be reminded. You can help your loved ones, but sometimes you just need to put yourself first. And so I really enjoyed her this season. I'm just going to miss her. Jasmine's the person that I'm going to miss the most. I love all my family members equally, but Jasmine has a soft spot in my heart, one of my favorite characters in this series. But speaking of favorite characters, Brent Gray as Jamal, he is hilarious in this season. There was something that he said in the first couple of episodes. I had to pause. I said, sir, why are you so funny? I really wish that Brent Gray was in every single thing possible, because he deserves. Just the way that he handles comedy in general, also to the physical comedy. He's still the same Jamal, but tweaked a little bit different where we find him at the beginning of the season. I honestly wish that we had more time with Jamal in season 4, because I don't think they really find the groove of what to do with Jamal's character until we get about halfway in the season. And that's when he's like classic Jamal that we know and love. But most importantly, the best moments with his character is the moments between him and Ruby's abuela. I just thought their time together is just so fun to watch. They have such a good time, and I really love what they did with that storyline. I'll get into that when I get into some issues, because there was an issue that I had with what they did with this character towards the end of this season, but we'll talk about that when we get into some of the issues that I had. But I really love the relationship between Caesar and Spooky. And in this season, they actually delve a little bit deeper into why their relationship was so fractured. Like over the course of a couple of seasons, we know when they talk about their father, they talk about what happened with their family and, you know, a part of Spooky being a part of the gang. I love that because we find Caesar in a totally different position than where we found him in the previous seasons. I love when they actually delve into the backstory of how fractured Spooky and Caesar's relationship is, especially seeing how fractured it is at the beginning of the season. But I think they do a really good job with their characters, highlighting, you know, what can happen, you know, when you succumb to being a part of a gang. And throughout the course of these past 4 seasons, we've really seen that from where Spooky characters has gone to where we find Caesar's character at the beginning of the season. I think they've done a very great job with their storyline, just showcasing how being a part of this life, how, you know, that can lead you down a very dark and twisted path. And I love how we see the contrast of where Spooky was in season 1 to where he is in season 4, and the reverse of what happened with Caesar between these seasons as well. There is something that they do with Ruby's storyline. They actually wrap up a storyline from a previous season, and I thought it was very well done. It was unexpected. When it happened, I was like, oh, I totally forgot. Like, we never really came back to what happened with Ruby. But I thought that it was a really great discussion of what needed to happen. And also to just delving deeper into sometimes people are put in circumstances that they really can't see themselves out of. But at the end of the day, when you take a step back and you don't judge a book by its cover, you really see that there's some common ground between everyone. I am disappointed what they did with Marseille's character this season, because I just felt like I love what they did with the storyline between her and her mom and what happened with that and her bonus family. But now we'll get into that afterwards. Outside of that, it was nice seeing Marseille and Jasmine become even closer friends, especially where we found them in the beginning of the series. But most of all, for me, one of the things that I really enjoy, not only about this season, but all of the seasons, is just having a series where we get to see Black and brown people just exist and be funny and fall in love and be friends and just experience all these crazy things, going on a crazy scavenger hunt. And just All My Black has just been so instrumental to adding more representation to TV, but also showing how successful it can be, how so many audiences from different cultural backgrounds can really tune in to just enjoy all of the crazy shenanigans, the stories, the journeys that these characters have gone on for the past 4 seasons. And it's been so great watching all of these characters, watching all of these actors, but just being able to see all of them prosper throughout these couple of seasons. And I can't wait to see what they have in store for us and their careers going forward. But I had a really great time overall with the series. Now, when we look at this for just as a season, right, there are some issues that I had with All My Black season 4. One of the things is I really felt like I wanted a lot more from Marseille. I actually wanted more from Jamal as well. Marseille kind of got reduced to the whole thing between her and Caesar. And it was just like, okay, I get it. But we done had 3 whole seasons of that. And because we see all of these other characters like kind of having bigger issues to deal with, I just felt like what they gave Marseille's character to do, what the issue was that she was going through, I didn't necessarily care for it. I felt like she could have had a little more meat added to her story. There's also something that they do with Jamal's character when we get towards the end of the season. And I was just like, this came out of left field. I didn't even know this is something that his character was interested in from watching the previous season. So it just kind of felt out of whack as a whole. And when we get to Spooky's storyline, now, as I was saying that I appreciate them showing the contrast of the 2 different roads that your life, like, that you can go down into, especially between Caesar and Spooky, I felt like they rushed Spooky's arc, and there's something that happens with his character that they never actually answered the question of who is responsible for it. But also, too, I felt like there's so much more that they could have done with his character. And I honestly believe the reverse should have actually happened. Once you guys watch it, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. I don't want to spoil it for anyone, but it did feel like, for me overall, for season 4 as a whole, it didn't feel like they necessarily had an end in mind. the story of where we find our characters to the kind of the crazy journeys that it leads them on, it didn't feel as tight-knit as it normally is, and it felt as though that they didn't necessarily have a vision of what they wanted for a season 4, but most importantly, it didn't feel like the series wrapped up in like this neatly tied bow, leaving the question for me, which has been bothering me ever since they announced the spinoff for On My Block. I need to know, what was the real reason that we ended On My Block in the first place? If we're going to end this series, end this chapter with them, I get it. They're supposed to be graduating from high school. But to introduce a whole new cast, I'm kind of just like, I want to continue the journey with the characters that we have. That doesn't mean I'm not going to support the spinoff, but it just felt like, because the last season was all over the place, it just made me feel as though that they didn't necessarily want to end this season, and maybe it was a decision from Netflix to end the series and do the spinoff, come up with some younger characters that they can kind of go through the whole process again. From freshman year to senior year, but I don't know. It's just something that felt a little bit off with the series finale. It could just be me, but yeah, overall for me, On My Block season 4, I still enjoyed it because I love the characters. I just love seeing everyone one last time. I got some good laughs. We had some heartfelt moments, but I would say it was a little all over the place from a writing standpoint, from a storyline standpoint. It didn't flow like it normally flows. I'm just gonna keep it real with y'all. But overall for me, I'm going to miss On My Block. I'm going to miss laughing. I am going to miss seeing the representation that we deserve to see on screen. But hopefully with the spinoff, you know, we'll get more of that representation. And also too, hopefully this just inspires, you know, different streaming services, different networks to make sure that they are just adding diversity. Like, this is a very great example of how you can have a diverse cast that still attracts so many different audiences from so many different backgrounds. But yeah, what I would tell you guys to do during your time, stop playing. Go ahead and watch the first season, the second season, the third season, and then we just gonna come back for the fourth season and just have a great time. If you haven't watched On My Block, I would definitely tell you to watch it. It's a very quick binge, quick episodes. You will enjoy your entire life. So let me know in the comment section below, what did you think of On My Block season 4? I am going to stop rambling now, you guys, but those are my thoughts on My Block season 4. As always, my name is Sharana from Pay Your Weights, and if you like what you saw today, make sure you hit the like button, hit subscribe, share this video with your friends, and make sure you hit that notification bell. And I love you guys 3000, and until I see you again, bye.